And so when they can play us,
Now, if you're going to quote something on Instagram, that you should put up
I'm
a
going to
picture
make a
of
post
you
out of that.
with a little cloud going, our humanity is never that far from us. All right, so who are the people? Who are the people or the person that we are more likely to be divided with in our lives?
Well, here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to bring this back around, and we're gonna do a little Venn diagram here. And we're gonna bump into the fringes of comfort.
Do I need to draw this?
Wait, you can't. We're gonna bump into the fringes of comfort here. Because a lot of what makes this divisive mechanism, and it doesn't even segue, but a lot of what makes that mechanism work is comfort. Because it is far easier for us as human beings, when we look at a complex situation, what we really like is to know who the good guy is and who the bad guy is. We don't want to do a bunch of uncomfortable thinking and have to deal with thoughts and go and research and really weigh this. Do these things make sense? And does this seem like a reason? No. Give me the headlines and tell me who to root for and who to boo. Because that's what I want. I want to know who the villain is. And that's why it's so easy to sell villains like China and Russia and all of these, because that's what they did when we were kids. You know, the sickle and the hammer, and when you sleep, they're thinking about killing you, and
get under your desk to avoid the nuclear explosions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just as a note, kids, the school desk offers no actual shelter from a nuclear
This
blast.
is not a fallout shelter.
I know how hard they are and how bad it hurt, but no, it won't protect you.
You know, at that point, I'm thinking, and I was beyond the age of radioactive drills or nuclear war drills.
We did the tornado drill in the hallway,
and
which
the fire
was almost as helpful.
But you know, in my mind,
hey, it's on fire. We should hide inside.
A tornado is a far better alternative than sitting in this desk for the next 6 hours, or a fire. But that's terrible. That's a terrible thing.
The tornado drill only got you into the hallway where you had to bury your head into the hard tile floor and pretend not to do anything. The fire drill,
it wasn't in the textbook. Yes,
fire drill meant the playground.
Extra recess.
You cannot be safe from a fire in the building. Yeah,
right,
even
so what
nuclear war, you're safe inside the building.
So what you're saying is the people who cause us the most discomfort are the ones that we're going to be more prone to division.
Are the ones we share our clothes with.
Ourselves.
Humanity is never far from us. I was going for another big quote there.
Humanity is the person you share your clothes with. Well, I mean, that goes, I don't know. I share my clothes.
The person you share underwear with.
The person in your underwear right now.
Yeah.
Is the person you should know to be afraid of. And I wrote this down the other night. Go ahead.
It's our visceral, like, knee-jerk response to things. And if we never become the type of people who question ourselves beyond that initial knee-jerk response, is this a legitimate response I'm having to this other person, this other situation? If we're just willing to accept that, then division will remain.
Yeah, but something has conditioned us to respond in that particular way.
Yeah, comfort, humanity. We like to know who's the villain, who's the hero. Black hats and white hats. Goes back to the caveman brain. Who's on my team? Who's off my team?
So what we don't realize is that
who's different.
Comfort is the villain that is creating division.
Comfort definitely adds to it because we won't challenge ourselves.
Oh man, why is that?
We let ourselves get by with anything. My family member, who's staying with me.
No way.
Was having a conversation with her sister, who's not staying with me.
Thank God.
And anyone else responsible. Thank you all. Thank you very much. My mother looks at my aunt's children and wonders why they want to put her in a nursing home, but they won't come help her. They won't come visit her. They won't spend any time with her. And why? How can they be that way? And I'm listening to the story going, because they're people. They're selfish people who like to be comfortable, and dealing with their mom and her issues is it's dirty, uncomfortable work. It's the same thing that keeps church being church. Because dealing with sinful people and their messes is dirty work, and we don't want that. We want to put it we want to plug it into a system. So and you and I have had many conversations on this topic, and I still will continue to hold that I think systems should never manage people. I believe that relationships are for people and systems are for stuff.
Okay.
And what has gone terribly wrong with the church is we have tried to implement a system to take care of people. And that's destroys people.
You're getting into something else. It's totally
I'm getting into something completely else. But the point is,
but you're right.
Because that's comfortable. That's the norm. That's what we've all gotten used to. My aunt's children don't want to come take care of her, don't want to deal with her mess because they've got their lives and everything going on. They're willing they'll throw money at it to put her in a home or do whatever else needs to be done so that they don't have to deal with the problems. Comfort. We always protect ourselves. We always protect our comfort. We constantly buttress it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And again,
well, it's a good thing you've had me on your little podcast.
This is great because this is a great little thing to think about because we're going to get into that, I think, in a later discussion.
Another later discussion.
Another
episode.
On another talk about the things that we are totally against, comfort. And again, I'm going to say that for later. I want people right now, I want you guys to think I'm totally against comfort because I will explain that later because I am totally against comfort.
I am totally against it. No,
am I? I don't know. Am I?
Really.
I got a cushy little chair.
There's a time and a
place.
Yeah. At the end of the day, when you've done your hard labor and you're sitting there, you've got a right to some comfort and some rest. But if you think that the whole of life is about
spoil
comfort,
it for us. You're going to have to edit this out and put this into the next conversation. Take it easy. Something that I wrote the other day. Stop it. Something that I wrote the other day. I'm not afraid when it comes to this political thing because I've got to be in a different state during the election. And there are a few people who are like, I wonder if you'll ever make it home. I'm like, that's an interesting thought. I don't know.
Can I ask what state you'll be in?
It's a red state. But it's mostly been a red state.
I don't care what color. Just if something goes wrong and I have to come get you, then I will. It doesn't bother me.
All right. Well, I'll tell you. It's Florida. I'll be in Florida.
Okay. You should be fine.
So, okay. But still, I mean, other things are happening in other parts of the country that that means they shut things down. So, I don't know.
I think of my youngest daughter going to California and wondering what's going on.
And she's going to be there on election. Yeah.
For the whole stinking thing. Yeah.
Oh man. So and that's something else I didn't even think about. You've got that to consider. But something I thought of is I'm not afraid of either political party. I'm not afraid of either candidate. What I'm afraid of are the people who voted for the loser. That's what I'm really afraid of.
Well, again,
and it's sad. No, wait. It's sad that I have to live in a country where I'm afraid of my own countrymen.
I think it's a terrible thing that we've come to a place in our country where we cannot have discussions about politics anymore.
No, we can't.
I mean, that seems crazy, and it's not like that. Back when I was a kid, we're talking about 8 years ago, we could have conversations that were productive with one another, and now we've lost the ability to do that. And why did we lose the ability to do that? Well, we didn't lose it. We gave it up. We quit on that because that's uncomfortable. That's difficult to have a conversation with someone you disagree with and still treat them like a human. It's much more fun to act like, well, you've got the wrong opinion, so you're no longer human. And I dismiss you because that's what's going on now. That's what we're doing now. That's the game we play now.
I just wanted to make one thing known that I meant to mention earlier, that the first 3 letters of manipulation are man.
And the next 3 are nipple.
Well, no, but
not
that's
really.
Close. That's close.
That was me.
All right, so would it be safe to say that understanding is the antidote to division?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because we can't get to understanding when we refuse communication.
Okay, but
something
isn't the
has
result
got,
of communication?
Something's got to make communication imperative to us again.
Okay. So what you're saying is there's a step before understanding.
Right.
Understanding is definitely closer to the path of healing, but we have to start with communication.
Right. We got to be able to talk enough to be able to go, look, I don't agree with you. And we may have talked about this. I know I talked about it with Kelly last week. The idea that if you set down a group of liberals and a group of conservatives, the things that they want, the end goal, those are generally the same things. What changes is the pathway that they see to arrive at that.
Right.
Or used to be. Now I don't know that that's true. But I think I think the ideas we have, whether they're political or whatever, the reason that we retain our ideas, a lot of the reason that we retain our ideas for most people is because those ideas make it safe. They make it comfortable to be who I am, to be what I am. People rarely cozy up to ideas that make them uncomfortable. You know, we like that, what do they call it, that thing that you get from listening to all the people that say the same thing you do, the feedback loop thing.
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber. There's another word, a cool buzzword going around for it I wanted to use, and I can't think of it. So anyway, that's the thing. And how do we get to the point where we view, I think we've lost the ability to tabulate the value of another human being, or to acknowledge the value of another human being.
I would agree.
That's a lot of how this whole thing works. Is the first step is to shut somebody down so you don't hear their opinion, but what happens from that is that person is demoralized and somehow they are dehumanized. And we've taken away their humanity, and that makes it okay for us to bully them, hit them, shut them down, shoot them down, whatever.
Yeah.
So there has to be a point at which we begin to value human beings. In a culture which is so in love with the instantaneous, that seems like an unlikely, you know?
Immediate gratification.
Yeah, and both sides of that. I mean, you look at the abortion culture or whatever else, you know, it's just so easy to, we just off a human being because they're inconvenient to us. It kind of makes it difficult to argue for putting up with the most self-destructive and base and asinine behavior of a human being because there's something inherently valuable in them if we could just get them to Jesus. You know, if you are not worth saving as an innocent tiny baby, it's hard for me to argue why you're worth saving as a completely valid human being who just continues to make bad choices.
And then we have spiritual abortion.
I mean, this is seeped into Christianity heavily, and it's not even recognized, but you can see it in the way that the church behaves toward the lost and dying world out there. There's
I don't think
no real concern.
It is steeped into Christianity.
Yeah.
In modern day
it's not supposed to be there.
It's not like supposed to be there.
It's and just this other characteristic we've taken on.
Right, and it just goes back to the simple thing of love, that we just don't have the simple, most basic respect for a human being.
We've misplaced the intrinsic value of humanity somewhere.
Right.
And if I look at you and all you are to me is an annoyance and an impediment to me getting what I want, there's something jacked up about that.
Or you have prevented someone whom I love and like and accept getting what they want, then you've become a nuisance to me as well. And speaking of proverbial.
Oh. Is that a proverb?
It is proverbial. Yes.
Which proverb is that?
Book of Second Mark.
The book of second Proverbs.
I really think we should look at division in our own lives, and let's think about also being effective in the agency, or where we have agency at, and that is in our own lives. I mean, let's face it. I don't have a lot of agency in the political arena. I don't run for office. I don't have an office. I don't have a title. I don't have a political
You are sitting
podcast.
in your office, sir.
I don't have a political office, and so I don't have a lot of agency there, and I can't I don't have a lot of weight to pull. I can't change a lot of policy.
I feel the same. I feel the same
But
way about.
I can change a lot of policy in my household. I can change a lot of policy in my circle of friends. I can affect the policy where I work, and not just policy. I'm not talking about, corporal policy. I'm talking about me as how the policy I handle people, the policy on what I deal with certain situations. I'm just looking for something tangible that we can grab and we can go, okay, here's how I spot division in my life, whether it's between me and my kids, me and my spouse, me and my boss, me and my coworkers. Here's how I can spot division. Here's what I can do to combat it. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, we kind of touched on this a couple weeks ago, but I'll bring it back up again because I don't mind repeating myself. I'm the type of person that doesn't mind being repetitive.
We did line upon line.
I enjoy nothing more in life than destroying falsehoods.
Okay.
And so one of my favorite ways to deal with or to combat division, in as much as it depends on me, is when I see the potentiality for a false narrative to be set up, I like to confront it.
Okay.
Confrontation, not a popular sport in this day and age.
No way.
But I've always enjoyed it.
Okay.
I don't like it so much as it happens to be something I'm kind of good at. And so, like I said in the past, I can think of, I cannot think of his name. Maybe you'll be able to remember his name. The guy who used to come, Walter. Walter came to FLF, he and his wife. He played acoustic guitar, and she would bring a tambourine in her purse.
Yes.
Now the memories come back.
Yes,
Look at that. That's all you needed. Tambourine in the purse.
Tambourine in the purse.
Walter and his wife, Walter and his wife have been going to church there for probably a couple of 2 or 3 months. And one Sunday he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" Well, absolutely. "I just wanted to know, did I do something to offend you, or have I done something to make you mad? You seem like you don't like me, and I don't think that we've ever had any kind of trouble. And I don't know what I've done." I said, "Walter, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. You've done nothing to offend me. I'm not mad at you. I like you. I think you're a fine guy. And I'll kill you one more. If I ever do have a problem with you, or you do something, I want to say something to you, I'll come and say it to you. So you don't ever have to worry about that." But the experience of having that happen made me kind of look for things like that. So I'm trying to be proactively aware. I'm not waiting for people to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking for people that maybe I'm on the other side and I go, did I do something?
Mm-hmm.
Just to go, and if there is, I don't know that there's a wall of division, but if there is, it's not going to stand because of my inaction. I am going to tear it down. We talked a couple weeks ago about a guy in a coffee shop hitting on you. Just kidding. Mm-hmm. He wasn't hitting on you. He come and complimented you. It's that same thing, but and I don't want to say it's in a negative sense, but the same idea. Looking where you can proactively, just in the same way we can go out and proactively look at ways we can encourage people or say positive things or do something, we can go out and proactively look for places that smell like division in our lives.
Yes.
And we can proactively go, that's not going to stand. We had, when I did the youth group in Columbia, and we first started off, and we had the guys, we had 2 or 3 kids that were every Sunday we were there and got to know them and had a really great relationship with them. And one week, a new family came, and they had a daughter, and she was in the same age group, you could tell. And we all went upstairs for youth, and I'm like, somebody invite new girl. And one of the dudes was like, "Oh, I'm not going to invite her. She's blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, yeah, and she probably thinks the same thing about you, and you just proved her right. So now what do we do? And then it was like, guess we should invite her. I'm like, yep. There it is. And that's, like I said, most people won't take the time to question what they do. They just accept it because this is what I'm doing, because it's what I want to do, and it's comfortable for me. But if you will take 30 seconds or a minute out of your day and just kind of survey what you've done and why you've done it, and challenge yourself. Go, well, why did you do? Yeah, but why did you really do that?
Or why did you not do that?
Or why did you not? And you can, just in the same way, you can look for places to, do a positive good, do a positive thing for somebody, do an encouragement. You can look for ways to proactively tear down division in your life.
So, and here's the thing, because we are anti the word controversy or confrontational. A lot of personality tests always talk about, how well do you handle controversy? How do you confront things? Do you confront things? And there's several personality, I would say the majority of personality traits are not to confront things. We're not good at confrontation. With the moment that you told me about, which I remember us discussing that previously in that time period with Walter, do you believe that he was confronting something? Do you believe he was confrontational at that point? What I'm trying to get at is the term confrontational always negative about something?
Absolutely not.
Okay, and that's probably where I'm getting at, because we don't want to be...
What are we confronting?
Right.
See, Walter wasn't confronting me. Walter was confronting this sense
issue
that he had.
The possibility of an issue or a
yeah.
feeling, which, yeah.
I feel like such and such and such and such.
Exactly.
And then he allowed me to go,
right.
Well, here's I don't feel any of those things. Secondly, like I said, I'll give you my guarantee that if it ever comes to that, you'll hear it from me directly.
Right.
But what it did was rip down that fake thing.
Yes. And here's what I'll say to that.
And we never had a personality conflict or any issue beyond that. We were fast friends after that. But sometimes
because
you need to take that initiative.
You completely got naked. So here's what I would say to that. And feelings are a good navigator. They're not a good pilot. And too often we'll walk into a room like New Girl at church, and we'll see someone laughing. This happens at work with all of us. We'll walk into a room, and then two people standing in the corner will all of a sudden chuckle, and immediately we'll think, we feel like they're laughing about me. It's about me. And then we don't confront that. First of all, we got to confront it internally. But then the whole issue is that we think, and it goes back to this whole thing, that we think that people are thinking about us that much. No, they're not.
Isn't that an interesting thing?
Yes. But yet we let our feelings drive us. And then here's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I'm going to ignore that person. I'm going to brush that person off because they were laughing at me when I walked into the room. No, they were laughing because they told a joke at the water cooler and I happened to walk in at the right time, but it created a feeling in me. And that's what I'm getting at. It's that Walter goes, okay, I'm not going to be driven by this feeling. I'm going to confront Doug and say, hey, Doug, tell me about this because I got this feeling, but I want you to either validate it or tear it down and actually you tore it down. And we don't allow people that because we're too comfortable.
From where I was sitting, I was not hearing him confronting me. I was hearing him confronting an issue, and we could both address it together.
He did that because he did not point it at you. He was addressing the issue.
Right.
And that's so often what we get.
And I love what you said. I think that is so perfect. Feelings, emotions are great things. God gave us emotions. Do not let them drive.
Yeah. Let them indicate, not navigate. Because that's where the problem is.
Perfectly stated. That is right.
I've indicated something. There's something
you are correct,
peculiar here. Let's ask Doug. Hey, you got something against me? Anyway, all right. Well, so that's fighting division.
Whether for the positive or against the negative, I believe there is so much to be gained if we can learn how to confront productively.
Yes.
And to remember, when we bring an issue to a person, the worst thing we can do is make it an issue between us and that person rather than making it like a separate entity. Here's this issue I'd like the two of us to work on together. Becomes a team effort rather than you did this and it made me mad, which puts the other person on the defensive. Forget it.
So I think,
forget about it.
And that's why I want to be against division as men, because we need to lead the way in, okay, we're not going to solve division. There's going to be division. No. There's going to be strife. There's going to be things that happen in our lives that we just cannot control. There's going to be people that are going to be divisive try to sow dissension in organizations and in family and so forth. But the thing is, I think that's it. I think that's the antidote to division, is the ability to confront.
Certainly,
and not
to some
confront
extent.
the person, but confront the issue. Are we willing to open up the communication channels by me saying, hey, Doug, is there something that I did or said that made you feel, I have this feeling, and I want to address it. I want to confront it. Let's talk about it. And I think that's what Walter did. And I think that
Absolutely.
is truly a display of a man to go above and beyond the feelings and say, hey, let's address the issue. Let's address these feelings, because really those feelings exist out here. But so often we make that, do what you feel.
Well, and here's what else happens is, like, we make this rule, this arbitrary rule that suggests that, like, talking about your feelings as a dude is not a dude thing. So if this is bothering you this bad, whatever this issue is, issue X, we'll give it an algebraic term. If it's bothering you that much, what is the likelihood that when you go home at night and put your head on your pillow, you're still thinking about it? And that it is slowly eating you and poisoning you internally.
And waking you up at 4 a.m.
What's the...
I'm sorry. That was a jab. That was a jab at you.
And why not? What's the point in dragging yourself? What's the point in letting this situation or this person live rent-free in your head? Yep. Why not just get it out in the open and get it dealt with and find your way? You'll find at the end of this difficult conversation is this huge lake filled with peace, and you get to take a big swim in it and let go of it. It's just not that hard. And as men, we should, A, be able to confront the situation and be able to do it in a way that is non-threatening and doesn't have to be a big, penis fest of like, We can deal with it the right way. We as men can hear it the right way, that we're not so fragile that if another dude comes up and goes, hey, I want to talk to you about something, we have to get all defensive or get all fragile and blow apart and everybody hates me. That's me. That we can just hear it and go, okay, I'll consider that. When I'm going through my daily thoughts about what I'm thinking about the day and stuff, I'll throw that in the hopper and we'll see, let it tumble around and see what comes out.
I want to add a warning to this too, because I think a lot of times we're very prone to do this exact thing. And what you're talking about here, I think we're glazing over as going, oh yeah, you're right, I should do that. But the thing we don't think about is going directly to that individual, instead of going around that person and talking about it to other people. And then we get into the realm of gossip.
Oh, that's not what you're supposed to do?
No, that's not what you're supposed to do. Because then...
sorry, did I not make that clear? First, go and tell everyone else.
No, because that's the thing.
To get as many people on your side. Put it on Facebook.
Walter didn't come to me. Walter didn't go to the pastor. He went right to you. And I try to live by this policy that says, if someone says something about someone else, I'm going to go right to the source. Hey, so-and-so said this. Is this true? Yep. Oh, no, that's not absolutely true, because this happened, or they might have thought that because of this. Because I don't want to believe that about someone. Go right to the source, and as long as it's your business, if it affects you. I mean, if it's not your business, leave it alone. But,
here's point number 2.
Uh-oh.
Point number 1, go directly to the source.
We got 3 more. We got 1 more to go. No,
point number 1, go directly to the source. Point number 2, do not go to anyone else. Yeah.
And point number 3, keep it between the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
There's 3
all
steps you can do solid advice, probably not common. That's because that's what we do. We want to go on Facebook and we want to get our team together and get all the people on our side. Yeah. Bad move.
And
bad move. Don't involve other people.
As men in a relationship, do not talk about your wife and your relationship with other men. Unless you've already talked about it with your wife. That's the thing. We for some reason we think getting together and drinking beers and smoking cigars, and all of a sudden we can talk crap about our wives.
I did not get any beer or cigars here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're in the mail. I promise.
Yeah. Cover your wife.
Cover your wife.
And I don't even remember if that was. I don't remember if that was Joe McGee or who that was, but I remember hearing somebody say it once. Don't, because I used to be terrible about it. I would always throw my wife under the bus.
Yeah.
As soon as I thought I was with somebody who was empathetic because there was something we didn't get along about or something.
Exactly.
First move. And it's like, whoa, bad first move.
No.
Destroy every bit of trust. Destroy every bit of trust in that relationship and then try to work on it.
Yes. Nope.
Yep. Another solid advice. That should be in the relationship episode probably, but yes.
Yes. Young men, take a look at my life. Always have those conversations with your spouse first before you have them with another man.
I like to say, as of right now, because I just thought of this thing, I'd like to say, if you're not supposed to poop where you eat, guess what's even a worse idea?
That is a tremendous place to just end right there. And again, another great Instagram post.
That's
from
the bumper
Gentlementors. Guess what is worse?
Identify episode 551 to get the free bumper sticker.